The Design and Treatment Trials Committee is one which has in the past had a lot of influence over trial design in the area because it's been frequently a major resource document to which investigators, trialists in industry as well as in academic settings go for guidance on simple issues like trial duration, how to select the appropriate population for study, how to define endpoints, and so on. The committee, which is updating these criteria and these recommendations currently, is headed by Brennan Spiegel from UCLA and Jan Irvine, who is was the chair of the previous committee and is the co-chair this year. The other members of the committee include Max Schmolson, Mike Crowell, Mayan Key from China, Kokan Gui from Singapore, and Jan Tak from Belgium. Many of these investigators have been frequent consultants to industry in the design of treatment trials. They're very experienced investigators, and I think will do an excellent job of updating these criteria. The overview of the chapter is summarized here. The major sections are selecting the research questions and hypotheses, and there is some guidance on what are the categories of questions and what are the limitations of trial design to answer more than one question at a time. There is discussion of how to select the appropriate target population with some new material this year on the cross-cultural influences on the choice of treatment trials, choice of populations. Critical trial design principles for the functional gastrointestinal disorders are reviewed. There's a discussion of the inclusion criteria, again taking into account some of the new information that we're collecting on cross-cultural influences. There's discussion of the role of biomarkers, clinical design principles in the functional GI disorders, including some new trial designs such as the pragmatic clinical trials that have been advocated by the FDA and the investigation of PRN dosing schedules, which are increasingly being considered for some medications in functional GI disorders. The recommendations for pediatric trials will be incorporated into the design trial. There will be a section on ethical issues and recommendations for future research. One of the key innovations that the committee is considering is the introduction of pictograms. This is an effort to try to bridge some of the difficulties with communicating with patients about concepts such as bloating. So it's thought that the use of pictograms can help to bridge the gap for patients at very different educational levels. There's been some hope that this can also bridge the gap of translation of diagnostic criteria and symptom reporting across countries, although Dr. Sperber has sensitized us all to some concerns about whether there may be issues cross-culturally that make these as difficult to translate as text criteria. Some of those cross-cultural concerns relate to for example, to cultures in which showing a nude body would be very offensive, cultures in which one can't relate to female and male cultures without being of the same sex, the patient being of the same sex, as two examples. So these are a few of the novel points that the Design and Treatment Trials Committee is going to bring to your attention, and I'd be happy to try to respond to any questions.